great energy shift going on right now, and guess what? You are a part of it, whether you like it or not. Alright, so here's something that I want you guys to keep in mind. That certain movies and television series, they're actually put out to either control, program, and or manipulate you. So I want you to think back to around the year 2008, 2009, when we were hearing about these conspiracy theories in regards to the world coming to the end, and then also these the Mayan calendar conspiracies or predictions and stuff. It was said that there was supposed to be great change upon the earth, and the children of the sun would be awakened and presented with these with various abilities. And it also mentioned the end of the white man, as their birth rates have dropped tremendously low. It's not so much as the end of him, it's more so the end of his tyrannical rule upon this planet and upon the children of the sun. Now, if you search for the Ethiopian calendar, you'll see their new year starts in September, and they don't go by the Gregorian calendar. Their calendar is based on 13 months, with one of their months being like 5 days or so. It puts their time of year in 2012, as in Y2K, as of September, our time.
Now, did you know that Ethiopians celebrate their new year in the month of September? And unlike other people who use the Gregorian calendar that has 12 months in a year, Ethiopians' year has a total of 13 months in 1 year.
Now I want you to recall that series, the 4400, which premiered like around the year 2014. The 4400 was a popular series that played around with some of the 2012 predictions. It showed how a chosen few gained abilities, how the government went against these people and those who chose to ally with them, and how there was a leader that arose out of all of it to help out the chosen. Now, they based that series around a group of people who disappeared and then reappeared and started to display abilities. Some of them were said to have disappeared for like 50 years or so, and then came back, and others had disappeared for maybe no more than like 3 days or so. The thing is, why did they use these specific numbers? Generation X produced a lot of innovative people, and if you were born between the years 1961 and 1981, you're an Xer. There was a lot said in regards to how no one really knew how to take them, or rather us, as we weren't really playing by any preset rules. We are the X-Men, the ones doing and who did incredible things, changing the world and moving it forward. Generation Xers would now be in the ages mid-30s to mid-50s. And with this being the actual year of 2012, I say everything is right on time with how these children of the sun are becoming more awakened. The number 50 represents a space in which which specific cosmic energies will be upon the planet and connecting to the children of the sun. I sort of mentioned this in a previous presentation where I mentioned how the star Betelgeuse is going supernova.
The bright red star on the top left corner, Betelgeuse. We begin by looking at the position of each star that makes up the constellation. Betelgeuse is 640 light years away, making it Orion's second closest star to Earth. 200 years ago, an odd discovery was made about the star. It took place on the Cape of Good Hope, on the southern tip of Africa. The British astronomer Sir John Herschel was fascinated by the bright Betelgeuse and recorded observations of the star. Herschel noted the stars in order of brightness and noticed something rather strange. These are the results of 4 years of observation. Orion here refers to Betelgeuse. In March 1836, Betelgeuse was the 4th brightest star, yet 8 months later in November, it was the brightest. He discovered that sometimes the star grew dimmer, and other times brighter. Why did its brightness vary? So began the quest to unravel the mysteries of Betelgeuse. "80 years later, in 1920, a new discovery was made. This time, it was at the Mount Wilson Observatory just outside Los Angeles. The physicist, Albert Michelson, thought the varying brightness of Betelgeuse was perhaps caused by changes in its size. But the mystery of its varying brightness remained. It was about 40 years later that the puzzle was solved. Guy Perron is researching Betelgeuse at the Paris Observatory. Perron uses results from the latest observations to explain the size of Betelgeuse. Detailed observations suggest Betelgeuse's diameter could be as wide as 1.4 billion kilometers. That's 1,000 times greater than the Sun. Placed at the center of our solar system, it would surpass the Earth's orbit and reach as far as Jupiter. What's more, it has changed in size by more than 100 million kilometers. The giant star changes its brightness as it pulsates. In fact, this pulsation foreshadows the star's future fate.
Qui présente l'intérêt en fait d'être une étoile très brillante, donc facilement observable, et aussi d'être une étoile en fin de vie. Et donc il y a des phénomènes extrêmement intéressants dans son environnement et sur l'étoile elle-même qui méritent et suscitent l'intérêt des astronomes pour son observation.
Fixed stars, which shine by their own light, are born and die just like humans.
Now, my ancestors left information behind in regards to how planets or stars provide energetic upgrades to our DNA, and it's boosted by the power of the sun. So this is why it's actually important to go out and get you some sun, son.
In January 2011, an article became a hot topic of discussion on the internet. It claimed that Betelgeuse will explode in 2012. But no one really knows. Just before a supernova explodes, a flood of neutrinos is released from the star's core. When a large number of neutrinos is detected, a video conference is held with scientists around the world, and the data is analyzed. As soon as the supernova explosion is confirmed, observatories worldwide are notified.
Now, the 3 days that some of the people were missing represents a trinity of events that happened. In my last presentation, From Infinity to Endgame, I sort of alluded to this in how the complete trinity would be Avengers Infinity Wars, Avengers Endgame, and then it's also Guardians of the Galaxy. So Guardians of the Galaxy would actually come before all of that. So that would be number 1. So number 1, you learn about this energy or this power. So that's Guardian of the Galaxy. Number 2, they began this war to keep this power or energy from getting into the wrong hands. And number 3, they defeat the tyrannical powers. Okay, so that was Guardian of Galaxy, that was Avengers Avengers, Infinity Wars, and then Endgame. So right now we're in Endgame. And if you haven't seen the presentation, then I would say go ahead and watch it. Maybe I'll have a link somewhere inside of this video. So the number 3 also represents completion and family, as in the mother, the father, and the child, for unity, harmony, growth, and then ultimately for wisdom. The number 44 represents the spiritual realm and connecting to your higher self, which is in another dimension, as well as connecting to your ancestors who are within your bloodline for guidance. Now, all of this political stuff, it is a distraction. And there really are entities pulling on our energy as like parasites, because they are parasites. It's being used to bring your energy down so that you can't connect to this, this energy that's being brought to the planet.
You are the absolute source of all creation. This rides in you. Everyone here does not have that. So that means your energy is the most valuable. For your energy to be harvested, which it is on this planet, as they pointed out in the movie Jupiter Ascending. For your energy to be harvested, your mind must be occupied, as they told you in the Matrix. For them to use you as a battery, they must create this prison for your mind. Planet Earth is a prison for your mind. And you niggas are still fighting for it with this organic shit. You need to understand, your enemies are closer than you think. All this shit is not of you. It is not of your source. It is a grand production, scenery, made to maintain this apparatus, Mr. Organic. And as you maintain this apparatus, it allows you to exist in harmony with the prison called planet Earth. All while entities of a cosmic level suck off you, with agents down here who understand their job and their role to have your ass walking around day to day, arguing amongst each other as the wheel just keeps on turning. Your stupidity is the grease that lubricates this motherfucking vampiric, angelic group of beings that feed off of you. You're worried about the gas bill. You're fretting over the heat bill, the light bill, your mortgage, your rent, your job, your kids, your significant other, what white people are going to do, the police, the government, the tax man. Will we come back and take rap again? Gentrification of Harlem. All those things are to occupy you, keep you arguing and debating and reasoning and using logic, not using the heart and the inner knowing, which is the spirit, to only realize that which sleeps within you is the keys to your prison break. You've only been tricked into being scared. Those who feed off of you, and if you need a name, you can start searching with the word archons. Those archons that feed off of you, they need you to be occupied because they cannot control your mind directly. They have to inspire you to think a certain way, and you do it yourself. And that also is their weakness, because if you find the correct information that deals with the nature of who and what you are, you have the ability to retake your own mind, such as I have, to my best ability. It's always an ongoing thing because these things work like the universe and with the universe. So they are chaotic, which means they are dynamic, which means once you change, something else is going to change with it.
Now, excuse me. Hold on. Gotta take a drink of this. This is some sea moss. Well, it's not just sea moss. It's sea moss, coconut milk, some raspberries, some dates, and a little bit of lime. Oh, and a banana. Yeah, that's good stuff. That's good stuff. So you're getting your minerals, you're getting your vitamins, you're helping to boost your immune system. You know, it got some good zinc in there and everything. Excuse me. All right, so back to what I was saying. Consider the movie 2012, where there was this. They were preparing for this great flood to affect the world, and how there were millions of people, or maybe even billions of people, that were killed in this flood. Now, although CCP China released their dam and it killed millions of people, well, I don't know if it killed millions of people, but it killed many people and still killing people right now. That's not the flood of 2012, with this being 2012 that we're in right now and not 2020, according to the Ethiopian calendar. Go and look that up. The actual flood is the fear-mongering information surrounding the CCP virus, which has, around the CCP virus, which has swept the minds of billions of people across this planet and keeping your mind and thoughts on lower vibrations. The information that I post on my Facebook page is an attempt to balance out the information that these parasites are spreading and manipulated with. Their information is contagious, it's toxic, it's damaging to the psyche, to cause fear, it causes panic, it causes anger, and it also causes death. To balance it out, you have to understand what's actually going on and who the perpetrators are. And this will help you to calm this will help you calm down your energy. See it like this. You have a balancing scale for weighing stuff, right? Okay. So on the one hand, you have all this information about the CCP virus, about the lockdowns and all the fear, okay? So that's on that hand. Then on the other hand, you have the information, you have the knowledge of who's sponsoring all of this and causing the fear, okay? So the information can balance as well as tip the scales in your favor. See, so the universe is actually attempting to connect us with this upgrade, but people's vibrations have been lowered, and based on where your energy is where that upgrade is going to meet you. For instance, you can be in a conversation in regards to healthy eating, healthy alkaline eating all these great foods and drinking your sea moss, and you might have this bag of chips, a bag of chips or something just sitting off to the side, okay? Now, it's pretty obvious to you and to some other folks that you're talking about being healthy and being alkaline, right? Okay. But you'll have this person or some people, a few people, that would actually just focus on the potato chips. I know this analogy might be a little bit crazy, but they'll just focus on the potato chips, and they'll just start wanting to have a conversation about the potato chips that's sitting over there instead of the conversation that's going on. Excuse me. Instead of the conversation, there are some seeds from the raspberry inside of this that is getting inside of my throat. Yeah. I didn't strain it out. I should have. But yeah, so instead of focusing on the information of eating alkaline and building up your immune system, they're going to focus on the potato chips that's sitting over on the side. I want to have a conversation about that. And no matter what you say, that's just where they at. They want to talk about the chips. So why them chips sitting over there? You gonna eat them chips? Well, that's not alkaline. So, you know what I'm saying? Or even better, when I continue to tell you to stop focusing on how long it took me to start passing fibroids and to focus on your health, because we are not the same, but you continue to go from one post to the other and ask the same question over and over, instead of reading the pinned post, reading the description box, or just going back inside of the video where it was actually said inside of the video, or maybe even reading some of the comments. You just focus on, well, how long did it take you? And everyone else has actually are moving forward and getting healthy, and you're still back there. I mean, you know what I'm saying? Y'all get what I'm saying? So listen, these movies and series, they're full of symbols and codes, and you just gotta be able to, excuse me, you just gotta be able to connect to the information instead of just sitting there be entertained. Now, I'm not saying don't enjoy the movie that you're watching or the TV series that you're watching, but you need to be able to guide your awareness, or rather your attention, so that you're not being programmed by what's called subliminal messaging. Remember the movie They Live? Well, you know, they actually do. And when you're able to control your awareness and your vibration, you'll be able to see it too, and they won't be able to control or manipulate you and your thoughts and your movements, causing you to go out. Yeah, they're working out there. It's so noisy. And no matter what time I do this, it's just gonna be noisy because they're out there working. But they won't be able to manipulate your thoughts and your movements, causing you to go out and protest when it's not even, when it's not your idea to actually do so. See, it's your energy that's being manipulated because you're already angry. Or at least you're already made to be angry or manipulated to be angry. So the next step is really just to get you to act on it. Hence, getting you to go out to the streets to cause danger or cause harm to yourself and or possibly to others. This is a part of that psychological warfare that's going on. It's something that you can't see, but you can definitely feel that there's something going on. So yeah, there's good and evil, and there are positive and negative forces that's fighting in this realm as well as across realms for our energy as well as for our souls. Now, don't get it twisted when I say what I'm about to say. I was attempting to this is something that I was attempting to show in my last presentation, where I had some clips of young Pharaoh breaking down some ancient history and some current history to try to, in an attempt to pull all the information together. So, believe it or not, Donald Trump, and it doesn't matter how you feel about him. It really doesn't matter how you feel about him. He has a very big part to play in this, as he's actually battling against against these forces of darkness. I know. And they are parasites, and they may be even offsprings. They may be even offsprings of these ancient entities that were mentioned in Avengers, and whose skeletons that's been found and mentioned. Well, they've been found and mentioned in ancient texts. They are deceivers, and apparently they require blood sacrifices. So he's doing this with his team of allies, and the children of the sun, who are us, are caught in the middle, with each side working very, very hard to keep us and our energy on lockdown with low vibrations of fear and thought, or to allow it to flourish and grow and expand so we can come into our godhood, which is this higher energy, connecting you to your higher self. Rather, let me reword that. It's you come into your godhood. It's your higher self connecting into this energy from the sands of the stars of the supernova. Make sense? I don't know, this is just what I'm getting here. And no, I am not saying that he is our savior in any type of way, but he is our shield, and we have to use him when the time is actually ready. When the time comes for us to use him, we have to use him.
And the way it works, it's not action reaction. We all can be doing this action and their shit just starts collapsing. Why black people shit collapse, because in a mass communication, they understand the ritual that they're doing against you. Therefore, they understand that they're changing reality. They're really fighting by just doing it. And you don't have to all the time know. You just understand the symbol. So we understand Captain America to be a symbol for America. He is America's everything. All that arrogance when they go across the world and do what they do. All that shit that they do to you unanswered. You know what I'm saying? Mass incarcerations and just day-to-day violations. Experiments, all that good shit that they do to you is because they win with it, because those who deal with the ritualistic aspect and the symbolic aspect as a weapon to impose their will, understand, they're making it so everybody else works in a winning environment against you. So how do you get them back? That's the question. I told you last year, take that Captain America doll and tear it up. Do as you want. Drown it. Tie it up. Stick pins in it. It is you now taking back symbolically the land, the power. It is you answering that which has been forced upon you through one symbol. There's nothing sweeter than ritual, y'all, because all your ills, personally and collectively, you can put into one symbol. And what you do with that symbol represents what you do to them as they wronged you through injections, vaccinations, what they do to your kids. Every time you're scared that your kid walks out the door, that one of 100 things could happen to them based upon American system that they're in, that you're just putting up with. You may have managed to survive and survive well in it, you know what I'm saying? But ultimately, you're in survival mode here. You can manage to do that in one symbol by doing things. I taught you that last year, and people showed me pictures all over the country, ultimately breaking a Captain America shield. I had one around this motherfucker somewhere. I'm using crack. I gotta find that son of a bitch. I might have already destroyed it. Oh, looky here, and looky here. Looky here. Will be found. Yeah, I'm dropping shit, so yeah. Yeah, that hard's starting to come on, son. So get this done before it get kooky in here. 5. So, look what I found.
Yeah, I know. Some of y'all hate the man, but you don't even know why you hate him. You don't know why you hate him. You don't know why you're angry with him. That's something for you to figure out. Why is it that you're actually angry or mad at this man, or that you want to call him racist? I actually haven't seen anything racist out of the man. He says some quirky stuff though. I haven't seen, and I'm talking stuff before he became president.
No group in America has been more harmed by Hillary Clinton's policies than African Americans. No group. If Hillary Clinton's goal was to inflict pain on the African American community, she could not have done a better job. It's a disgrace. Tonight, I'm asking for the vote of every single African American citizen in this country who wants to see a better future. The inner cities of our country have been run by the Democratic Party for more than 50 years. Their policies have produced only poverty, joblessness, failing schools, and broken homes. It's time to hold Democratic politicians accountable for what they have done to these communities. At what point do we say enough? Look how much African American communities have suffered under Democratic control. To those I say the following: what do you have to lose by trying something new like Trump? What do you have to lose? I say it again, what do you have to lose? Look, what do you have to lose? You're living in poverty, your schools are no good, you have no jobs, 58% of your youth is unemployed. What the hell do you have to lose? To be your victory. The African American community has given so much to this country. They fought and died in every war since the revolution. They've lifted up the conscience of our nation in the long march towards civil rights. They've sacrificed so much for the national good, yet nearly 4 in 10 African American children still live in poverty, and 58%, as I said, of young African Americans are not working. They cannot find a job.
This really ain't something that I want to go off into, okay? But before he became a president, I didn't see where he was racist. He was just a businessman. And I love that TV show that he had. What is it? The Apprentice? Come on now. We love watching that show. We learned so much from that show. But I digress, because like I said, that is not something that I want to go into like at all, okay? But he is the shield that we have to use against the opposing side when time comes. We have to. Because we can't continue to allow our chaos to be wielded by this other side or by anyone to manipulate us and who wants to do us harm through their manipulation. me take a sip. Okay, so look. As a child, our father told us about the story of Yakub and how he drafted a race of people. Well, how he drafted a race of people for a particular task. And it said that he's the one. It said that he had a big head, and he's the one that split the moon away from the earth. Well, his big head may be due to him being he was very smart, and he was a scientist. So it's like saying big head over there, always reading and studying, you know, not necessarily having a big head. I mean, he could have had a huge head though, but to me it's like saying big head. Come here, big head. Go ahead, put the books down. You know, a smart person, somebody with a big brain. Now, I also want to say that that Yakub would be one of those cosmic entities. Yeah, I kind of want to say that. I want to say that he would be one of those as well. And he's also mentioned inside of the Bible. However, he's called Jacob in the Bible. Just substitute the Y for the J, because J's weren't even created then. But so substitute the Y's for the J, and you have Yakub. And if you study the Bible, you study Yakub, you study Jacob in regards to what he was doing in the Bible, you may be able to put all that together. Now, I know all this information sounds too incredible to be true. And, you know, when you think about it, that was actually the plan of these parasites. So that when all this stuff starts to happen, like what's going on right now, and you start to seeing some things, you wouldn't believe it. Or we start to hearing some things, you wouldn't believe it. Because we've been so entertained by these fake monster movies on TV and in movies, to where when you actually see something presented to you, you're not going to believe it. You're just going to shake it off and go, okay, that person over there is crazy. Yeah, they're crazy. Although there are historical references to these parasites, what are they? They're I don't necessarily want to just say parasites, but they're these reptilian beings. These are the cosmic entities. They are reptilian beings, and it was mentioned inside of my other presentation, Affinity Wars to Endgame. So now you see things actually happen, and you start to doubt everything. You doubt yourself, you doubt what you're seeing, but that was actually part of the plan to just keep you confused, so you don't know what's going on and just continue to fall into the traps. But look, so see, okay, so I'm gonna I want to end it like this. Raise your vibration by not allowing this flood of information, this flood of negative information, to cause you fear, to cause you to hold on to anger, to cause you to be in a worrying state, or to even cause you strife against your neighbor. It's not just the children of the sun that's being affected and that's being attacked. It's all of us. These parasites, these cosmic entities, they're coming up against all of us. So you have the Avengers, they have their task. So they're fighting the dark forces. And so the children of the sun, we need to protect our chaos. We need to meditate. You have to meditate. You have to focus your attention. you have to learn how to focus your energy. And meditating is sort of like giving yourself a reboot. That's going to be a recommendation. And remember, the foods you eat and the thoughts you hold are what's keeping you locked down in the lower vibration of your emotions, which produce a vibration of its own. And on that note, I'm going to say peace out. Drink my food.
Is this you discussing Indian blood? We're going to judge people by whether they have Indian blood?
That probably is me, absolutely. Because I'll tell you what, if you look at some of the reservations that you've approved, you, sir, in your great wisdom have approved, I will tell you right now, they don't look like Indians to me.
Wait a minute. Wait a minute. Wait, first of all, you're not going to speed past that like you didn't just say what you just said.
I will tell you right now, they don't look like Indians to me, and they don't look like the Indians. Now, maybe we say politically correct or not politically correct. They don't look like Indians to me, and they don't look like Indians to Indians.
Don't waste your time on those junkyard losers. This country was built on genocide and slavery. We killed all the black guys that were here, and then we shipped in new black guys of our own. And then we brought in Jesus like a bar of soap. Let's go. You know it.
Let's go back in time when the American Indians looked like I look.
The ruling establishment has a lot of, they will stop at nothing to complete their toolkit of control, right? So one of the things that has been missing from the toolkit of total control has been quarantines and curfews, right? Mm-hmm. So now, welcome to the new world in America, where to get on a bus, to go through a subway station, if you think that the procedures at the TSA are onerous, right? Guess this is coming to a bus depot near you. It's a more invasive way, and the ruling class needs this because, let me say, if the ruling class ever saw wide-scale civil unrest, you'd see an Ebola outbreak in America right away.
Okay, so this is, what you see is that Ebola is
another tool in the toolbox of the ruling class to control. Yeah,
to keep down
absolutely,
repression.
Positively, 100%. This is a tool.
Right.
Ebola doesn't just magically start spreading. Mm-hmm. And then we have this doctors that come back here. The white people, of course, live. Mm-hmm. You know, the two whites who got it survived. All the black people that get it die. Right? It's very possible that these one of these NGOs over there is going around with a veil of Ebola or spreading it from a small plane onto villages. The point is to get hundreds of thousands of people infected with it and create the next phase of control. Now, one of the things I'd like to show to back up my my claims here. Here's a document from the Rockefeller Foundation. Rockefeller Foundation, right there. You can zoom in on that, where my finger is. It's called Scenarios for the Future International Development, the Rockefeller Foundation. All right. Okay. Let's take a look at what they're saying here. This is something like a 50, 60-page document. I'd like you to go to page 18, if you can look at this up on the internet, but I'll read it off to you. It's called lockstep, lockstep. And this is a phrase that I used right after 2001 when I saw the entire system of the United States, including the population, were in lockstep. So the Congress went along, and yes, it was Osama bin Laden, and the people waved their flag and said, I hate, 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 and everything was in lockstep. Well, in 2010, they published this, Rockefeller Foundation, and here's what they're saying. They're saying that they call it a scenario. These are scenario narratives, and they speak about it in the past tense. So they put out this scenario, lockstep. A world of tighter, top-down government control and more authoritarian leadership with limited innovation and growing citizen pushback. Okay, I'll read a little bit of it. In 2012, the pandemic that the world had been anticipating for years, nobody was anticipating a pandemic, finally hit. Unlike 2009's H1N1, this new influenza strain originating from wild geese, they use some scenario, but this is Ebola they're talking about.
Ahead.
Even the most pandemic-prepared nations were quickly overwhelmed when the virus streaked around the world, infecting nearly 20% of the global population and killing 8 million in just 7 months, the majority of them healthy young adults. The pandemic also had a deadly effect on economies. You can see the agenda. Just naked, raw, naked control agenda written down, and it's anybody's guess how this becomes effectuated in real life. So whether this is written specifically as marching orders or whether people take it upon themselves in the intelligence networks to say, okay, well, this has been produced, so this is the plan here. But these narratives have to be written in advance because the intelligence agencies don't know how to do these narratives. They need help. So these think tanks, they come up with these like Rand Corporation, Rockefeller Foundation. These are think tanks of death. They're not the think tanks, they're not there to find great ways to help people. Right? Okay, the pandemic also had a deadly effect on economics. International mobility of both people and goods screeched to a halt. Which is what they want. They want a completely isolated world, right? Debilitating industries like tourism and breaking global supply chains. Well, of course they want tourism stopped because they're not in the tourism business, and they want you at home in your house in front of the TV. Then they got you because once you watch the TV, they own your soul. Even locally.
Wait a second, we're on television.
I mean commercial television, let's say. National. Even locally, normally bustling shops and offices sat empty for months. Okay, so I love how they talk about it in the past tense in 2010. Right? The pandemic blanketed the planet, though disproportionate numbers in Africa died. Southeast Asia and Central America, where the virus spread like wildfire.
It sounds like the opening monologue of a disaster movie, right?
Exactly. Now listen to, here's the good stuff now. But even in developed countries, containment was a challenge. Now here's this one. I love this one. The United States' initial policy of strongly discouraging, in quotation marks, strongly discouraging citizens from flying proved deadly in its leniency. So they're saying, that...
No, keep going, read it.
Proved deadly in its leniency. So they should have been tougher, right? Accelerating the spread of the virus, not just within the United States, but across borders. However, a few countries did fare better. China in particular. The Chinese government's quick imposition and enforcement of mandatory quarantine for all citizens, as well as its instant and near hermetic sealing off of all borders, saved millions of lives, stopping the spread of virus far earlier than in other countries. So the message is here is we have to look towards the Chinese, the oppressive totalitarian Chinese regime as an example of what we need to be doing here. And of course, the ruling class here loves the Chinese regime because they have demonstrated to the ruling class the most efficient form of capitalism, which is authoritarian capitalism. So we have capitalism, but unfortunately we have this veil.
I get it.
We have this veil of democracy.
This is very interesting. This is continue on.
Okay. China's government was not the only one that took extreme measures to protect its citizens from risk and exposure. During the pandemic, national leaders around the world flexed their muscles, flexed their authority, and imposed airtight rules and restrictions. You can see the agenda.
Go.
Okay. From the mandatory wearing of face masks to body temperature checks at the entries to communal spaces like
that's what's happening right now.
Yeah, but soon it's going to be like body.
It'll be at the subway.
Yeah,
is that what you're saying? We'll be going through this in the subway to get on buses and the subway,
absolutely,
things
positively.
like that.
And what this means though is don't think about having a cigarette, a joint on you, or basically you can't. This is a dragnet for everything. So if in order for you
in other words, just like with stop and frisk, this is ultimate stop and frisk.
This is the ultimate cavity stop and frisk, cavity search kind of thing. All right, so during the pandemic, national leaders around the world flex their authority. Now there's some good stuff. Listen to this. And even supermarkets, they want body checks at supermarkets. Okay, so basically what they're saying is they're building a system where every move you make, you got to go through them.
You can't get food. Well, how about if you go to the farmer's market?
Right. Here's the good stuff now. I mean, it just keeps getting better. Even after the pandemic faded, this more authoritarian control and oversight of citizens and their activities stuck and even intensified. That's the whole point. So they're going to get rid of...
Didn't that happen already with 9/11?
Of course.
9/11 was how many, 14 years ago, and we still have all these draconian rules.
So they're going to put the body cavity
USA,
searches
Patriot, and all
That's right.
Stuff.
So in order to get to the supermarket, you got to have a body cavity search, and then when there's no more Ebola, well, you know what? We kind of like this way because we have a complete infrastructure of a control grid. In order to protect themselves from the spread of increasingly global problems, from pandemics and national terrorism to environmental crisis and rising poverty, leaders around the world took a firmer grip on power. Well, what the hell would rising poverty have anything to do with imposing strict citizen controls with face masks? So they're very sloppy stuff here. At first, the notion of a more controlled world gained wide acceptance and approval. I'm sorry. Nobody likes this stuff. They're just saying it. No, I have to provide analysis.
Only because we only have 5 minutes left, so that's
Oh my God, okay. Citizens willingly gave up some of their sovereignty and their privacy to more paternalistic states in exchange for greater safety and stability. I mean, that's just a complete naked contradiction to the famous saying that if you think you're going to give up a little bit of security, I mean, if you're going to give up your freedom for security, you're going to get neither. That's the long-standing thing. And here what they're doing is they're not even ashamed or embarrassed to absolutely say the exact opposite. They're saying, yes, we all want to give up our privacy and sovereignty for more stability and security and stability. So you don't get that. When you give it up like that, you get the shaft.
Can you show us the cover again of what you were just reading?
One more time, and then I have two more documents.
Right, this is what we were reading here, and just zoom in a little bit so folks can see it. He'll zoom in, don't worry, you can relax. And scenarios for the future of technology and international development.
Okay, now I have two more documents. Keep it zoomed. We have the National Security Memorandum of December 10th, 1974. This is Henry Kissinger's brainchild. The National Security Memorandum number 200. You can look that up on your internet. I'll summarize it. He says that there's too many people, we got to get rid of the population. So to answer your question.
From earlier.
Yeah, he says, he used the word depopulation, which is different. Depopulation means killing people that already exist, and it's to get the minerals, because we need the minerals. And here's another one. The CDC has a patent on Ebola. They've patented it. Yeah? Right. So basically, if you want to get a cure for your Ebola,
it says it right up here, right? It says human Ebola virus species and compositions and methods thereof, and it's a patent.
It's a patent. They patented the main strain plus something like 17 other strains of it. So they own it now, and I don't know how exactly you can own that, but apparently they've done the same thing.
Yeah, I didn't think you could own a natural.
Yeah, you can. I guess the main thing to finish off this show is this: that they want to get more control, more and it's going to be curfews and quarantines. So what I'm saying is that unless the American people start to get some new way to revolt, a new way to organize, new way to protest, unless we can break through the apathy, because that's what we have here, then it's going to be a slave state here. The ruling class doesn't seem to have too much resistance. They're getting everything on their Christmas shopping list, and they've been wanting quarantines and curfews for a long time. Now they got it. And if you want to live in a world where you're tricked into all this stuff because it's for your safety, right? And if you want to have a probe and make sure you got to check your pockets, make sure you don't have anything incriminating on you before you go out, and when you step out of your house, you want some police there to monitor and see what you're doing. If that's the world you want to live in, be apathetic, don't do anything. You're going to get that world very soon. It's coming your way, definitely.
Yeah. So what should people do? What's the hope? You have 30 seconds.
To wake up, learn about it, and go fight these bastards in Washington. They're easy to beat. If we can just organize, we can beat them. It's simple. They're weak, and there's so few of them.